coming up on today's episode.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra.
Good day to you all, YouTube. Here with you at the computer once more. Found something interesting. Actually, I didn't find it. Bill, old 64 Goat, sent me a link to this morning. And thank you, Bill, for that. I did not know this was available. I have been looking for a feed like this for a while. Now, apparently, from what I can understand, this one has been up since February of this year. And as you can see, the name is Seymour Trains. And if we look at the train tracks there's the diamond there at the, I'll put the cursor up and you can see. This is the diamond right here. This is the intersection of the north, south, east, west train lines. And hard to see over here, but there's another line coming from the north-south line that goes in the semicircle here and intersects with the east-west line. And that is the transfer line, I guess you would call it, if you want to go from north to south to east to west, or vice versa. You can use that link there. Now, again, like I said, this is south if we were looking at a map, and this would be north up here. This would be west over here, and this would be east. So there you go. That's kind of a reference there. I had to go mail to the post office and mail something, so I took a picture of the camera location, and I'll put that up here. You can see it's just in a window on a second-story building, and that building is houses the Bite the Bullet shop here in Seymour. Not sure if it's a rented apartment or if that's just his second floor. He put that up there. I don't know. But there is a Facebook page up about this as well. And like I said, I've been looking at that, trying to glean some data from it. But for right now, this is a pretty neat thing, I think, because I've always looked for something like this to use for a flat background. And what better thing than this to use? When Bill sent me the link, I clicked on it right away, and there was a train going there at that time. I was, I guess, lucky at that time, but I didn't capture it on the screen capture. So anyway, I thought maybe we could see a train while we were sitting here. Oftentimes they go through during the day, and mostly at night here. I don't know why, but that just seems to be the time of day they go through here. There is some night shots available, I think, from this camera I've seen on his Facebook page. And you know, it runs 24/7, so as far as I know. And there is another camera facing north. Again, this is a southbound facing camera, and it just is down at the moment for maintenance. So once it's up, we'll get to switch between the two, I guess, and look at that. Now, there's not much action going up the north action. There's just basically the one train line, so you don't get to see the cross there, the diamond. And but now there is one that comes through. I don't know what time. It's in the evening. And the way Seymour is laid out, there's a lot of crossings on this north-south track up towards that end. And he just basically lays on that horn solid from the time he gets into Seymour until he gets past the crossing there at Tipton Street. Tipton Street, I don't know if you can tell, but it's the one that has most of the traffic on it there. That's not it right there, the one, the car moving there. Don't see anything running. The lights must be such that there's nothing coming now. But like I said, I'll show you. I'll point it out to you when they come by. But oh, there they go, right there. So you can see them right there. Must have been a train coming or something. They must have had the gates down for some reason. But I'm not really sure why, but you can see the big truck going through there. That's the main artery. That's US 50. That's Tipton Street here in Seymour. And like I said, that's the main intersection or main boulevard, whatever you want to call it. We have I-65 is on the edge of Seymour, so that's another major artery going through the town, or not through the town, but it's right on the edge of Seymour. Some people even call that Seymour. I don't know if the actual legal definition or town limits or whatever is that far out, but I believe the actual "Welcome to Seymour" sign is just past the expressway there. So, like I said, this is usually a pretty good place to flap, I guess. It took me a minute or two to realize where this was at because I didn't have any coordinates to work off of. Because this angle I'm not really used to looking at. When I do any kind of flapping video in the car or something like that, I'm over here in this area here, which is I don't know if that's the actual Seymour or the parking lot that I usually go into and stuff like that, but that's near this spot over here by CVS. So that's where I usually am at, but again, not a big deal. So that's the grain elevator there, the big tall building. There's a caboose out front. I think I pointed that out before. So got some people walking up the tracks there, it looks like. That's interesting. I wish we could had the ability to zoom in on this, but I don't. Now, I thought it might be interesting one day just to play around and do something a little bit different. Come down here to these parking spots here. You can see nobody's parking in them right now, and maybe do a live type flap or something, or maybe even have a conversation with Bob while he is watching. Turn the phone on, or the not phone on, but the speakerphone on, and maybe do that. That would be kind of interesting, I think. I hear a train whistle, train horn. You guys can hear that too, I'm sure. That's not on this. That's out my window. So it's hard to say where it's coming. We'll see here in just a minute where it's coming from. But the way the echoes work here, I can't tell if that's coming from the north or south. Down on O'Brien Street, down the street from me, there's a crossing there. All I can see, I think I can see the lights just turn red over there on the line itself. Looks like the people are hurrying across. So again, I don't know where it's coming from. You can see the light up here is red. Not really sure how. I'm not that much on the light I'm looking at is here. It looks like it just lit up, but maybe may not even be a light. It just may be a sign. I don't know. I can't tell. But usually when they come in from the north, you hear that train whistle quite a bit because, like I said, there's multiple crossings there with all the streets in downtown Seymour that the line crosses. So on this side, there's not so many. There's only, I think, 3 before it gets down to my end. So, like I said, eventually we'll get to hear something, I think, maybe. I'll stay on here as long as it takes. And, if I need to edit the video, I can do that. But, like I said, I just thought this was interesting, and I'm very tickled that Bill sent this. I have been looking for something like this for a while, because I just figured, now I hear it on the camera. Oh, there it is. You see the gate just went down across Tipton Street. There he comes, coming from the south. Trying to see if I can still see him going by over here. Sometimes you can see it over the rooftop there. Yeah, it looks like he's still going by there. It looks like a fairly long train. So that'll be interesting. This is the big business, I think, now for the railroads, is the containers. On most of the ones I watch for the the train feeds that I watch, those are a lot of trains coming out of the west. That's all they have on them is those containers. And this one's the car haulers. So usually those show up on the. I can see them going by still over here. So quite a long train. But like I said, it's interesting to watch, be able to watch, I guess, as better said. Interesting the graffiti they put on these trains as well. I don't know where they. It must be in the big cities, you think, that this happens. But I just think it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I've always been fascinated by trains. And I don't know how well you can see that sign down there, but that sign next to the "Do Not Enter" sign is the street sign. That's 2nd and Indianapolis Street intersection right there. And again, that's this is interesting that I found this. I plan to do some videos related to this. Again, like I said, I may take and park the car there in the parking spot and do something with Bob on a conference type call or something like that, and not a conference call, but I'll just put him on the speakerphone. You can hear his voice as well as mine, and he'll be watching the feed as well. And I'm kind of interested to see what the delay is. Not a big deal. I mean, this is not something I'm using on a regular basis, but I just was interested to see how much of a delay there is. From the time I heard the whistle or the train horn down here, and actually it made it. That's about right. That would be very close to the time it takes for that train to get from my location up across town there, Tipton Street. So very interesting. I don't see any more train cars going by. Of course, now sometimes they'll put the flatbeds cars on the end of the train. I guess there's not as much weight to those. So, and I've noticed, I don't know how many of you guys watch feeds like this, but I've noticed here lately they don't put multiple engines in the front all the time anymore. They usually put them maybe a couple in the front and then maybe put one in the middle of the train itself. And I think that's to aid with derailments. I think once the train is so long, I think, it just being pulled from the front, it makes it more susceptible, I guess, to pulling it over. I don't know for sure, but like I said, it's just a thought I had. But again, this one's mostly the car haulers. I might be slowing down just a little bit. People in Seymour, there's been talk sometime now of changing Tipton Street to where it has a access that this basically cuts the city in half. And if there's any emergency type calls coming in, they have to basically go way around. Now the new Burkhart Boulevard bypass, that will get you around the train because it goes over the top of the trains. But again, there's the end of it. So that was interesting. I kind of like that. But like I said, if a train comes through before Burkhart Boulevard, there was no basic way to get around it. You basically waited for the train, and if there's somebody dying on the other side of it, well, they do have EMS on both sides of the train track, and they generally use them accordingly as far as where the call is from. So it's not a big problem, but the police don't have substations like that. They're located in, I know you can't see it from here, but if we come back to the 2nd Street intersection there and go slightly east and then take the next street to the left, there the police station is right there on the corner. So they are pretty much hampered by the trains going through, getting through Seymour on the east or west side of Seymour. if there is a train going through. I guess depending on how big the train is and how major of an emergency it is, they could go around Burkhardt, I guess. But like I said, so that's kind of interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm glad to found this, and I'm glad, again, thank you, Bill, for sending this to me, this link. I guess eventually I would have found it. I don't often get on and look for feeds like this, but I do every once in a while. And when I do, it just, I guess it's been since February since I looked, because Bill's he did was to put in live cams and came up with it. So, nice and interesting. Kind of liked it. I would like to do a feed like that, but I don't have nothing interesting here to see. Now, O'Brien Street is fairly busy amount of traffic as far as that is concerned, but nothing major. A lot of trucks on the and when I say trucks, I'm talking about semis. There's businesses down over the tracks that require semis, and they are mostly now taking the Burkhardt Boulevard bypass. And I'll try to point that out in here somewhere, the way that goes, and you can see how basically anything down that way they would prefer if they're coming from that end of town. Now the bypass is not complete around the city yet, and basically it's a US 50 bypass is what it's for. And so, and also 11. There's the two major roads that run through Seymour. Is 11 and 50. Like I said, 11 has not got near as much traffic as 50 does, but it is a major type road. Now 31, US 31, is located east of town, and it's getting, pretty much anybody going to Seymour, when they get to 31, they think they're in Seymour. Which, it is that's where the businesses start. You've got a McDonald's right there on the, practically on the corner of 31 and 50. You've got a truck stop, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but they do quite a bit, much business, or did. And they're fairly near the expressway as well. So they do quite a big business. And like I said, so, you've got both of those items coming that way. Now going west, pretty much a cutoff for Seymour is, I believe there's and I can't think of the name of it, there's a gas station, convenience store, new one down there, and then there's the egg business, which I can't think of the name of that either. But that's a pretty big operation down there. Their offices are down there. But like I said, past that, there's a few odds and ends, things like that, but not much. And you're pretty much out of town by the time you get it down that way. So next stop down that way is Brownstown. And you've seen me post some videos from Brownstown before, when I went down to the Dairy Queen down there to get me a chicken strip basket. And that would be good. Now, so, anywho, oh, there's Bob. Just about noodle time, he says. So, like I said, I'm going to get off here, I think, and post this. And this will be an extra, obviously. I do have my video ready for Wednesday. It's uploaded and ready to go. It is on the RCA digital music studio, or whatever they call it. And I'm getting closer, zooming in on it, but still we haven't got there yet. But like I said, it's interesting to watch the process I've gone through to try to find the where this thing starts at. And also, and I don't want to mention too much, but it was supposed to be here today. There's another RCA similar. And I say similar, it's not, it's a little older because it has a cassette on it, and it has a CD, I think a 3 CD changer, I believe. But like I said, I've got that coming from eBay. Found it fairly, they had 3 of them on there, and I think I picked the best one. And that's also at the cheapest price, I believe. So, like I said, that's coming in. It it left, I believe, St. Paul, Minnesota, or was in St. Paul, Minnesota when I bought it the next day, and has been delayed. And like I said, the USPS said it was supposed to be here today, but it's still if you look at and I'll post that up here, you can see it still says it's in transit. And the last place it was St. Paul. So it gets here, I guess. I was hoping it would be here by next Wednesday, not this Wednesday. But anyway, if that happens, I guess it happens. If it don't, it don't. I do have backup. I have a backup plan that I've been considering doing, and it's on an item that came in the mail. And I also have a couple of other items I bought here recently that arrived, and I'll kind of go over those. Those are workshop items as well. So, like I said, for now, I'm going to call this done, and I hope you guys enjoy our little look at Seymour and watching the busy town as it is today. And we even got to see a train go through. That was exciting. So there you go. You guys have a great day. Thank you so very much for watching, and we will see ya.